Johnny would be here today if it weren't for marijuana, for sure.
A Colorado family torn apart by tragedy.
We're so angry for living in Colorado that this poison was available to him.
The warning from these parents about high-potency pot.
Plus, the push to get everyone vaccinated. How soon middle schoolers could be offered the coronavirus vaccine.
I think we all agree this is not a good situation.
And unsettled by the rough arrest of a woman with dementia.
This has really damaged the trust within our community.
What Loveland leaders want to change now and why they're also urging patience.
First, we are still under a Denver7 weather action day, and yes, it is still raining. Good evening, I'm Shannon Ogden.
I'm Ann Trujillo. We're so glad you're joining us tonight. Yeah, rain for some, snow for others. This was the view from Castle Pines today. Denver7 Chief Meteorologist Mike Nelson is joining us now.
So, Mike, this round of wet weather should wrap up soon, but there's more in your forecast.
This is winding down, but we have a couple of unsettled days ahead. Great moisture, though. This is one of the wettest springs we've had in decades in the Denver area, and we'll take it, even though we'd love to have the sunshine and 70s. Right now, gray skies, rain in the area. The snow level about 6,500 feet. That extends up to the north across Larimer County, Boulder County, and across the state. The advisories are gradually expiring, but the temperatures are chilly, just in the upper 30s to low 40s on the plains. We'll stay at or above freezing tonight, but it does look like we'll gradually see that rain and snow mix diminish. There's still showers for Tuesday and for Wednesday. It turns warmer, drier Thursday and Friday, but then another storm system arrives in time for the weekend with more rain and, yes, for some areas, some snow.
All right, Mike, and you can stay ahead of the storms with our 24/7 forecast. Just search Denver7 on your Roku, Amazon Fire, Apple TV, or Android device to start watching for free.
A Colorado family struggling to cope with a crushing loss.
I wake up every day and I have to, remember that my son is gone.
It's a loss these parents blame on highly concentrated cannabis.
If this can happen to us, I believe it can happen to anyone.
Tonight, Denver7 Investigates is taking a look at potent pot and the role it played in this family's pain.
It's the worst day of my life.
We don't want any other parents to go through this hell.
Laura and John Stack
We got a phone call at 1 o'clock in the morning.
are two parents
He said, "Ma'am, this is Douglas County Sheriff. We're at your door."
still trying to figure out what happened, why it happened.
The lady in black said, "I'm sorry to tell you that your son is deceased." And I said, "What do you mean he's deceased?" She said, "He's dead, ma'am. He jumped off the top of the RTD parking garage."
Trying to figure out what went wrong.
Johnny was born John Kenneth Stack. He's the fifth John in our family.
He was actually brilliant. He had a 4.0 GPA.
Laura and John's son Johnny took his life on November 20th, 2019.
I know that marijuana killed my son.
This is a video of Johnny dabbing while driving. He flips his camera around. There's the road.
He'd been doing concentrates. He had become psychotic.
He was able to get a med card at 18 and legally buy these very high potency dabs that took him from us.
Dabbing is the street term for a way of using high-potency pot. A couple clicks of the keyboard can take you to a YouTube video.
So if you want to take dabs, this is what you're going to need. A rig, hash, and a set of lungs. Take moderate-sized dabs
And a virtual roadmap
till you figure out how much you can really smoke.
into the world of higher highs.
I'm about to get high as
I don't think many parents understand that this is a very different marijuana that we're talking about.
And that difference is in the potency. Today, marijuana dispensaries in Colorado legally sell concentrates of marijuana that have a potency level of 90%.
Hello.
Using hidden cameras, we were looking for candid answers to our questions about dabbing.
this is now what's the fad?
Yeah, absolutely. It's been growing in popularity ever since the industry legalized.
When I first took a dab, it was just too big of a hit for me for my first time, so I passed out.
The state has gone through dozens of research. It's definitely a safe product.
The extract's going to contain the cannabinoids that we're interested in quantifying.
This is the state's first multidisciplinary cannabis research center, a testing lab located at CSU in Pueblo.
Certainly, there are a lot of things, a lot of questions still out there related to cannabis in general.
Chad Kinney serves as director of cannabis research.
Do we know the true impact of high-potency pot?
No, I think there's still questions yet to be answered.
I think there's a lot of components to these programs that need to be fixed and some guardrails need to be put on them.
Dr. Ken Finn spent 4 years on the state's Medical Marijuana Advisory Council. He's also well aware of Johnny Stack's story.
Johnny's parents believe that high-potency marijuana not only contributed, but caused their son's suicide. Would you agree?
Absolutely. He was diagnosed with cannabis psychosis. And sometimes that's a bridge you can't uncross.
And Dr. Finn says the state's public health agency has failed to step up protections on the dangers of high-potency pot.
They should be the ones that are helping communities understand what the risks and benefits are in the marijuana world, and they're not.
It's very hard to watch. Here he's showing a video with 12 grams of weed. 12 grams.
And that brings us back to Johnny's parents.
We have a photo of him going to a pot shop doctor, paying a few $100s, saying he had a migraine.
They say Johnny's deep dive into the world of marijuana started at 18 when he got his medical marijuana license.
Do you know the name of the doctor that gave your son that medical marijuana card?
No.
Why not?
They won't tell you. I called CDPHE and I said I need to find out who the doctor is that gave my son the med card. I'm sorry, ma'am, that's protected information.
We requested an interview with Colorado's Department of Public Health to discuss protecting doctors and Dr. Finn's claim the state's not doing enough to protect residents. Our request denied in 9 words. Unfortunately, we won't be able to accommodate an interview.
I think we need to put together a huge coalition of parents who demand that our government keep our children safe.
There's no medical reason to have 90% THC. I believe that a mistake was made when they failed to cap potency. Now, reining that in is proving to be very difficult.
If I hear you correctly, you guys are both trying to make a difference.
We sure hope so. It's not going to bring our son back, but maybe it will help someone else keep theirs.
The state's Department of Public Health has published opinions that more research is needed on the impacts of high-potency pot. A statement to Denver7 reads, "In the best interest of public health, we suggest funding research to answer these questions." We are told to expect state lawmakers to take a closer look during this session. I'm Chief Investigative Reporter Tony Kovaleski.
And tomorrow morning, we'll be adding a different perspective to the debate on high-potency pot. We'll hear from the Black Cannabis Equity Initiative. It supports black entrepreneurs in Colorado's marijuana industry and has concerns about what new regulations could mean for them. We'll take this conversation 360 tomorrow morning. You can catch it all right here starting at 4:30 a.m. We have some breaking news right now. Westminster's mayor has stepped down. Herb Atchison announced his decision after a city council study session this evening. Atchison was facing a recall election after neighbors in Westminster took issue with rapidly spiking water bills from the city.
12 to 15-year-olds could be eligible to get one version of the coronavirus vaccine by early next week. Currently, Pfizer's shot is only authorized for those 16 and older. Now, CNN reports the FDA could expand that to 12 and older next week. The company says a trial with more than 2,200 12 to 15-year-olds showed the vaccine was well tolerated and 100% effective. Loveland police are facing intense scrutiny for this arrest of a 73-year-old woman with dementia. And tonight, the chief answered questions from the community in front of a citizens oversight board.
What started as a chance for the chief to explain himself turned into calls for his resignation. Denver7's GUAJARDO was there.
Residents that spoke out tonight made it clear they've lost trust in their police chief. The police chief expressed concern over the arrest, pointed to transparency from the police department, but residents here tonight weren't buying it.
Either you didn't know, which means that you're incompetent, or you did know and you're lying to us.
Frustrations flared.
I actually believe you should resign as well as the other officers.
As Loveland residents demanded answers.
It's hard for me not to wonder how much of this is lies this evening.
They questioned when Loveland Police Chief Robert Tyser found out about the violent arrest of Karen Garner. Garner's family attorney says she suffered a broken arm, a dislocated shoulder, and a sprained wrist during the arrest for allegedly shoplifting less than $14 of items from a Walmart.
One of our employees here at this department brought to my attention the video that was released.
Police Chief Tyser explained the investigation process to citizens and the police department Citizen Advisory Board. He firmly repeated he didn't find out about Garner's arrest until April 14th of this year, nearly 10 months after the incident, and says he took action.
There is no doubt this is as serious as it gets. This is our community.
He also addressed the Garner family, who felt his apology fell short at the press conference on Friday.
I'm sorry that if she feels we didn't give her an apology or we're not empathetic. We're extremely concerned about this situation. And this is our community too. We work here, we live here. We want to have a great community. We want to see our community members treated fairly, equally, and with compassion.
3 officers involved in the arrest resigned. A police sergeant remains on administrative leave. Garner's attorney filed a federal lawsuit against the city and 5 officers. City Councilman Don Overcash says he was shocked by the video.
Justifiable outrage and anger is understandable. Patience and understanding, getting to the root cause, addressing specific issues, rather than just using the broad paintbrush and saying all police are bad, that is simply not true. We all know that.
He proposed a trust committee to address various issues. The district attorney's office is reviewing all of the evidence to determine if any of the officers involved in the arrest will be facing charges. In Loveland, Addie GUAJARDO, Denver 7.
As a Black 6th grader, it hurts me to see all of the police brutality.
Tough conversations with young Coloradans.
A person's skin color should not be a threat. That's not right. It's not okay.
The questions and concerns these teens are taking directly to Denver's top cop.
Plus, pushed back by persistent rain. With no let-up today, the Rockies are prepping for a doubleheader at Coors Field tomorrow.
And stepping up to the helm amid a shakeup at the top, the Rockies turn to a familiar face.